The Zen master Tuang Chiu wrote, "If the practitioner knows his own mind clearly, he will obtain results with little effort. But if he does not know anything about his own mind, all of his effort will be wasted." Hey guys, what's going on? This is Lucas here, and today I want to talk about mindfulness again. It's been a couple years, I think, since my last mindfulness video, but I feel like getting back in the saddle feels right with my current sense of self and current way of practicing mindfulness. I want to profess this idea to you all, or at least, bring up this idea in hopes that it will be of some utility to you. And that is sort of like this meta mindfulness, this sort of meta meditation. You're basically meditating on the mind, or being mindful of the mind. Now, what do I mean by being mindful of the mind? I mean that when you're doing your meditative practices, be it in a crowd or in a pagoda or sitting in a half lotus, just in your room, basically just being aware of as many thoughts and feelings that pass through your head as possible. Being mindful of the conscious and the subconscious so that you may gain better mastery over how you present yourself to the world and present yourself to yourself. So, basically, if you're meditating and you're trying to be mindful of the mind, you're looking at any thought or feeling that passes through you. You are an observer, but you're also the observed. So, as you meditate, as you breathe in, as you breathe out, as you are contemplating things, as you are trying to still your mind and trying to relax, after you have departed from that point of relaxation, just keep track of what thoughts cross your mind. You may find that jealousy crosses your mind. Maybe you have anger towards someone. Maybe you have anger towards something, anger pointed inwards towards yourself. The point of mindfulness of the mind is not to pass judgment on these thoughts, but rather to acknowledge them and to acknowledge when these thoughts come into your mind and when these thoughts depart from your mind. Basically, you're gaining mastery over yourself, and you want to get to a point where almost nothing leaves or enters your mind without you knowing of its existence, acknowledging it. In the book, The Miracle of Mindfulness, which is a fantastic book, by the way. I suggest this to anybody who has anxiety or OCD or any sort of, pretty much anybody actually, because anybody can benefit from this book. But it goes into detail about various mindfulness practices and various meditative practices. And one thing that really resonated with me is how it talked about a palace guard. Your mind is kind of like a palace guard watching thoughts and feelings pass through the palace gates. And this is a good visualization, it's a good image for what you're doing with mindfulness of the mind, but it's not necessarily the whole story, because you are not just the palace guard, and you are not just your thoughts and feelings. You are both the palace guard and the thoughts and feelings. So you are your essential self looking at the thoughts and feelings going into your head and kind of forming and then dispersing. A part of you is the observer and a part of you is the observed. And the more you understand that, the more you understand your thoughts and feelings, the more you have mastery over who you are and who you wish to become. So for your next meditation, I want you guys to take 15 minutes and to just think. Don't even worry about not thinking. Don't worry about thinking. Just acknowledge thoughts as they come in, and acknowledge if they stay there, and acknowledge if they depart. Be like, okay, I'm experiencing hunger, or I'm experiencing fear, or I'm experiencing anxiety, anger, jealousy. My palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. My palms are sweaty, and my body is feeling heavy, or my body is feeling lethargic. what am I feeling as far as emotions, as far as drives, as far as anything. Don't let any thought or feeling pass through your mind without you acknowledging that it's there. Once you understand this, you are better able to interact with the world around you and the people in your life. You are able to understand what your relationship is with those people and what your opinions and thoughts are of those people. Because if you're just running on autopilot, which, most people do, I don't blame them. I do that more often than not, and I'm trying to get better about it. But if you are on autopilot, you have feelings and thoughts that enter your mind like a river passing through you. And you oftentimes don't understand what you feel about something unless you take a half second to acknowledge what you're feeling or to think about what you're feeling. So if you say, okay, I'm coming at this from a place of anger, I'm coming at this from a place of jealousy, I'm coming at this from a place of humor, of comedy, I'm coming at this from a place of depression, you can understand more your biases and you can understand more about who you are in relation to the things that happen around you. I hope that makes sense. And something that I'm going to do over the next few months is I'm going to practice mindfulness of the mind in my meditative practices and understand more about who I am and who I choose to be and what that means to me as I'm meditating. And so I want you guys to do the same thing, to find out what it is that populates your mind, what thoughts and feelings dominate it. I know for me, with my OCD and my anxiety, there are things that come into my head, intrusive thoughts, and I ruminate on them, and then they leave. I notice that there are anxieties and fears that enter my body, and then they leave. If you're having like a panic attack, you have physical sensations that are in your body. Your heart rate goes up, and you're feeling a sense of fight or flight, and then eventually that leaves. The point of the mindfulness of the mind meditation is not to chase these feelings away or to judge yourself for them or to judge the feelings themselves or the emotions themselves or the thoughts themselves. It is to just acknowledge that they are there, because all of us have these thoughts and feelings and emotions, and it's to gain mastery over yourself, because the more you understand about yourself and your thought processes, the more you are on your way to having a tranquil heart and a clear mind. Because oftentimes we don't see the clutter around our mind like we see the clutter around our rooms and our houses. We don't see the clutter in our mind, and so our mind isn't clear. To be clear is to see through the murky waters of the mind. To have a clear mind is to have transparency, to know oneself. And to know yourself is to know others as well, because we are all interconnected and we all have these interdependent feelings and actions that affect one another. So basically, for your next meditation, just think about your mind. Don't chase away any thoughts. Accept your thoughts for what they are and accept who you are in that place, in that moment, as you're sitting. And if you can practice this mindfulness out in the wide open world, that all the better. But the point is that mindfulness can happen everywhere. It can happen in the pagoda, it can happen in a temple, it can happen in a crowd, and it can happen where you're sitting in your room. Just be mindful of your thoughts and your feelings and what you feel about those feelings. Peel back the layers like an onion until you can get to the base essence of those thoughts and those feelings. Trust me, from my experience so far, I am still well on my way. I've still got a long ways to go on this path to meditation and on this path to knowing myself and to calming my inner spirit. But I hope that I can help you guys also on your journey through these various different struggles that you're experiencing, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, anything. Just acknowledge what you think about things, acknowledge what you feel about things, and accept that some things might stick in your mind, some things might have trouble leaving, some things you might want to come into your mind, positive emotions, but you notice that you're not feeling positive emotions. Acknowledge that. Don't chase anything away, because that's just going to lead to self-judgment and a sort of tainted view of yourself, like a funhouse mirror. You want it to be clear, you want it to be transparent, and you want it to be without judgment. So, I hope that helps your meditation. Let me know what sort of insights you guys find out with your meditations, mindfulness of the mind, and whatever thoughts and feelings pass through your body. I would love to hear it, and I hope that this is of some help to you. This is Lucas, and I'll catch you later.